Before we start, please get a piece of paper and a pen to write your answers because the answer key is at the end of this video. This reviewer is having 160 items. Let's start. 1. One wishes to have a telephone conversation with a person whose name is known. This is what we called A. Private call. B. Collect call. C. Personal call. D. Direct call. 2. The volume button of a Maritime controls. A. The transmitting power. B. The squelch. C. The clarity of transmission. D. The volume. 3. What should you do first to correct a condition wherein a diesel engine is operating with excessively high exhaust temperature on all cylinders? A. Adjust the fuel rack. B. Increase the lube oil pressures. C. Reduce the engine load. D. Increase the cooling water flow. 4. In maritime radio communication by low power given by a nautical phone is meant a transmitting power. What is the maximum power of what given? A. 0.5 watt maximum. B. 0.5 to 1.0 watt. C. 1.0 to 1.5 watt. D. 2.0 to 2.5 watt. 5. Which of the listed requirements regarding VHF radio telephone installations do not correspond to present regulations? A. Facilities should be available to permit radio communication from the wings of the bridge. B. As far as practicable, the antenna shall have unobstructed view in all directions. C. Controls for the channels required for navigational safety shall be immediately available on the navigating bridge, convenient to the conning position. 6. Which radio frequency channels are reserved for emergency communication? A. 2812 kHz VHF channel 12. B. 2812 kHz VHF channel 17. C. 2182 kHz VHE channel 16. D. 2128 kHz VHE channel 16. 7. The squelch on the control panel of a VHF SAT serves to A. To suppress noise. B. Adjust the sound level of the signal received. C. To suppress background noise in the wheelhouse when transmitting. D. Adjust the threshold level for admitting signals and refusing noise. 8. Calls, announcement and conversations from one station to another on board should be as brief as possible and consistent with A. Intelligibility. B. Loudness. C. Understandability. D. Clarity. 9. When a licensed Maritime is replaced, what would you do? A. The old Maritime must be checked out and the new one must be checked. B. The seller must check in the set at the authority concerned. C. Nothing should be done, for a license was already issued. D. The old Maritime must be checked in and the new one must be checked out. 10. Which system may be useful for messages, such as local storm warnings or a shore-to-ship distress alert, for which it is inappropriate to alert all ships in the satellite coverage area? A. DSC. B. NAVTEX. C. AMVER. D. EGC. 11. The squelch adjustment on the front panel of a Maritime serves to A. Adjust the transmitting power of the Maritime. B. Adjust the noise threshold of the Maritime receiver. C. Limit the noise of the Maritime transmitter. D. None of the above. 12. What is a polarization of a radio wave means? A. The beam angle of a transmitting aerial. B. Transmission of radio wave. C. The propagation speed of the signal. D. The direction of the electrical field. 13. The type indication of the radio set is mentioned in A. The survey of equipment. B. The equipment appendix. C. Radio license. D. The safety certificate. 14. What does this mean by dual watch in maritime? VHF communication is understood. A. None of the above. B. To keep a listening watch on two channels more or less simultaneously. C. The possibility to keep radio contact with two or more stations simultaneously. D. Automatic reduction of transmitting power. 15. Which of the listed requirements regarding two-way radio telephone apparatus for crafts do not correspond to present regulations? A. The apparatus shall be operated from a battery of adequate capacity to ensure operation for at least 4 hours. B. While at sea, the equipment shall be maintained in satisfactory condition. C. The apparatus shall be capable of being operated on VHF channel 16. D. When necessary, the battery shall be brought to the fully charged position or changed. 16. For the connection between VHF and antenna must be used. A. A copper wire of sufficient diameter to minimize losses. B. An arbitrary coax cable. C. A 3-vein cable with earth connection. D. A coax cable of proper impedance. 17. On which frequency are navigational and meteorological messages normally sent on the Navtex system? A. 214 kHz. B. 2182 kHz. C. 518 kHz. D. 216 kHz. 18. What does a modulation meant? A. Detecting frequencies. B. Blending LF and HF signals. C. Controlling the wave signal. D. To enhance the side bands in relation to the carrier wave. 19. When the vessel's steering wheel on the navigation bridge is turned, the difference existing between the position of the wheel and that of the rudder is known as A. The reset signal. B. Feedback. C. The error signal. D. Proportional band. 20. One wishes to have a telephone conversation with a person whose name is known. What type of call it is? A. Collect call. B. Private call. C. Personal call. D. Direct call. 21. Which distress signal is required for a life raft in ocean service and could be effectively used to attract the attention of aircraft at night? A. The water light. B. Orange dye marker. C. Smoke marker. D. Red flares. 22. When the voyage is to be of 48 hours or greater duration, which equipment must be tested not more than 12 hours prior to getting underway from a port? A. Emergency compressor. B. Emergency generator. C. Emergency air compressor. D. Emergency boiler startup. 23. The VHF band is in the frequency range of A. 30 to 300 kHz. B. 30 to 300 MHz. C. 3 to 30 THz. D. 30 to 300 GHz. 24. In shore ship use, what is useful range of VHF-Z? A. About 60 to 70 miles line of sight. B. About 30 to 70 miles line of sight. C. About 50 to 70 miles line of sight. D. About 40 to 70 miles line of sight. 25. You see a vessel displaying the code flag Lima below which is a red ball. The vessel is A. Aground. B. In distress. C. Getting ready to receive aircraft. D. Trolling. 26. Which one of the listed entries in the radio log for radio telephone station do not correspond to present regulations? Entries in the radio log shall include A. The time at which a listening watch is discontinued, and the reason. B. The condition and results of tests of the main radio telegraph installation. C. The time when a listening watch begins. D. Details of maintenance of batteries, including a record of charging. 27. Automatic amplifier regulation is used to A. Reduce distortion of weak incoming signals. B. Reduce distortion of the strong incoming signal. C. Increase incoming signal. D. Reduce noise if there is no signal. 28. The content of table number 2 of radio telephony procedures is A. All of the above. B. Phonetic alphabets and figure spelling. C. Position in code from the International Code of Signals. D. Nature of distress in code from the International Code of Signals. 29. The secondary purpose of a radio installation on board is A. To take part in public traffic. B. To stand by for navigational warning. C. To enhance the safety of lives at sea. D. To communicate in distress cases. 30. Which of the listed requirements regarding radio telegraph installations do not correspond to present regulations? A. A main and a reserve antenna shall be installed. B. The installation shall include equipment for radio telephone communication on distress frequencies in addition to working frequencies. C. The main installation shall include a main receiver, a main transmitter, radio telephone distress frequency watch receiver and main source of energy. 31. The legal type VHF antenna has a length of A. 10 meters, B. 1 meter, C. 7 meters, D. 3.5 meters. 32. Why does a radio waves used in satellite communication are not affected by ionosphere? A. The frequency of the radio waves is too high. B. TDM signals are used. C. A disc aerial is used. D. The frequency of the radio waves is too very high. 33. Which one on the list can mainly restricted the VHF transmission range? A. Reflection by the ionosphere. B. The length of the aerial. C. The curvature of the surface of TNE Earth. D. Atmosphere condition. 34. On board, an accident happened. Urgent radio medical advice is heeded. What category you should choose? A. Routine. B. Urgency. C. Safety. D. Security. 35. In making VHF communication or test transmission, you must tell how, when, where, and why. A. All of the above. B. With DSC use, first broadcast the carrier wave for at least 3 seconds. C. Identify yourself with your call sign and/or ship's name. D. First tap on the mic several times, but not more than 10 times. 36. Moored in a harbor, transmitting with a maraphone is on what regulation? A. Sometimes allowed. B. Always allowed. C. Not allowed. D. Allowed in consultation with the harbor master. 37. What is the most effective way of detecting any malfunction machinery during their operation? A. Noise alarms. B. Alarm gong. C. Electric siren. D. Blinkering lights. 38. Which of the listed requirements regarding portable radio apparatus for survival crafts do not correspond to present regulations? A. The apparatus shall be capable of being dropped into the water without damage. B. The apparatus shall be readily portable and watertight. C. New equipment shall be as lightweight and compact as practicable. D. Transmitter and receiver to be tested with intervals of not more than 1 month. 39. What does MUF stand for? A. Most effective frequency, to make a connection with an HF transmitter. B. Highest possible frequency that will be reflected by the ionosphere. C. Highest possible frequency that can be made with an HF transmitter on board. D. Mega or ultra-high frequency. 40. Which EPIB transmits a distress alert that is received and relayed by an Inmarsat satellite? A. Category 1 EPIBs. B. Class A EPIBs. C. Class B EPIBs. D. L-band EPIBs. 41. With an Inmarsat C installation there is the addressing option special. Via this option, A. You can send a message by express delivery. B. Give one of Inmarsat's special access codes. C. Can deliver a message via a special telegram. D. Can received a reply. 42. Regulations require that any ship making a voyage of over a 48-hour duration must have certain tests conducted not more than 12 hours prior to leaving port. This requirement includes the testing of A. Fire pump relief valve. B. Watertight door to the shaft alley. C. Emergency lighting system. D. Means of communication between the bridge and engine room. 43. What requirement is required before a maraphone is installed on board? A. A license must be issued. B. The ship must pass the port state control inspection. C. A letter of registration must be applied for. D. Contribution must be paid. 44. Which channel has been designated for on-scene communications in GMDSS? A. 16 and 2174.5. B. 24. C. 70. D. 2182. 45. On board an accident happened. Urgent radio medical advice is needed. Which category you choose? A. Routine. B. Urgency. C. Safety. D. Security. 46. On which frequency are navigational and meteorological messages normally sent on the Navtex system? A. 518 kHz. B. 216 kHz. C. 2182 kHz. D. 214 kHz. 47. What is the use of automatic amplifier regulation? A. Reduce distortion of the strong incoming signal. B. Reduce distortion of weak incoming signals. C. Increase incoming signal. C. Reduce noise if there is no signal. 48. By the degree of selectivity of a receiver is meant. A. Ability to distinguish strong stations from weak stations. B. Ability to distinguish weak stations from adjacent stronger stations. C. Ability to make strong station audible. D. Ability to make weak stations audible. 49. The call sign of a vessel is meant to A. Gain a quicker transit at bridges and locks. B. Provide the certificate holder with unique identification. C. Gain recognition. D. Be able to identify oneself. 50. The wavelength of a radio signal reflected against the F layer may be A. 1.5 meters. B. 1.5 centimeters. C. 15 meters. D. 15 centimeters. 51. How would you determine the wavelength of a radio signal? A. Weather conditions. B. Frequency. C. Wave speed. D. Propagation speed. 52. Which of the listed requirements regarding VHF radio telephone installations do not correspond to present regulations? A. Facilities should be available to permit radio communication from the wings of the bridge. B. As far as practicable, the antenna shall have unobstructed view in all directions. C. Controls for the channels required for navigational safety shall be immediately available on the navigating bridge, convenient to the conning position. D. Cargo ships of less than 500 tons gross shall have the batteries located in the upper part of the ship. 53. What is meant by the degree of selectivity of a receiver? C. Ability to make strong station audible. B. Ability to make weak stations audible. C. Ability to distinguish strong stations from weak stations. D. Ability to distinguish weak stations from adjacent stronger stations. 54. The main purpose of a radio transmitting installation on board. A. All traffic. B. Safety navigation and internal communication. C. Public traffic. D. To enhance the safety of lives at sea. 55. Which of the following is the full name of abbreviation VDR? A. Vessel Data Recorder. B. Voyage Data Recorder. C. Vessel Data Record. D. Voyage Database Record. 56. Which channel and mode should be used when initiating a distress alert transmission? A. Channel 13 radio telephony and Channel 16 DSC. B. Channel 6 radio telephony. C. Channel 6 DSC. D. Channel 70 DSC. 57. When may a compulsory vessel not be allowed to leave port? A. When the vessel is in an overloaded condition. B. When the vessel is carrying only two licensed GMDSS radio operator and is capable of performing all required functions. C. When the vessel has replaced a required piece of GMDSS related equipment but its performance has not been verified or logged. D. When the vessel has arranged for both duplication of equipment and shore-based maintenance. 58. Can you recall on the list why an acoustic feedback can arise? A. Because outside noise is amplified by the loudspeaker in the microphone. B. Because the battery is strong. C. Because the loudspeaker works as a microphone. D. Because the volume adjustment of the speaker is too high. 59. What is meant by frequency? A. Time lapse of vibrations. B. Time of propagation. C. Number of vibrations. D. Number of vibrations per unit of time. 60. Acoustic feedback can arise. A. Because outside noise is amplified by the loudspeaker in the microphone. B. Because inner volume adjustment of the speaker is too high. C. Because the battery is strong. D. Because the loudspeaker works as a microphone. 61. A VHF transmission range is mainly restricted of which items on the list? A. Atmospheric condition. B. Reflection by the ionosphere. C. The curvature of the surface of the Earth. D. The length of the aerial. 62. The vessel with an EPUB, you must check what? A. The date that the battery must be replaced. B. Check spare battery. C. The working of the charger and check the loaded condition of the battery. D. If it is attached properly to the railing with the required line. 63. What is the degree of selectivity of a receiver? A. Ability to distinguish strong stations from weak stations. B. Ability to make strong station audible. C. Ability to distinguish weak stations from adjacent stronger stations. D. Ability to make weak stations audible. 64. By non-reduced transmitting power in VHF, how many power in watt should be required? A. 5 to 10 watt. B. 1 to 6 watt. C. 6 to 25 watt. D. 25 to 50 watt. 65. Which statement concerning GMDSS distress alerts is true? A vessel in the vicinity of a distress situation may leave the area without notifying the RCC that is overseeing the operation. B. Distress alerts may be used to alert other vessels, including those in port, of existing navigational hazards. C. Distress alerts may be used to alert other vessels, including those in port, of existing weather warnings. D. Information contained in a distress alert includes the name and position of the distress vessel, and may include additional information such as the nature of the situation. 66. Which one on the list is required before a Maritime is installed on board? A. The ship must pass the port state control inspection. B. Contribution must be paid. C. A letter of registration must be applied for. D. A license must be issued. 67. Which of the following requirements regarding radio telephone stations do not correspond to present regulations? A. An instruction card giving a clear summary of the distress procedure shall be displayed at the operator's position. B. While at sea, the installation shall be maintained in a satisfactory condition. C. The radio telephone station shall be located in the upper part of the ship, sheltered to the greatest extent from noise impairing reception of messages, signals. D. There shall be an efficient communication between the radio. 62. Squelch mode serves to suppress A. Background noise in receiving a weak FM signal. B. Noise in transmission. C. Noise in absence of an FM signal. D. Noise in speech breaks in an SSB signal. 69. Which one of the following report if an incident takes place involving the discharge or probable discharge of oil? A. Final report. B. Dangerous goods report. C. Effective report. D. Harmful substances report. 70. In maritime communication, two international treaties are primarily involved. They are: A. The IMO at London and the ITU at Geneva. B. SOLAS and the International Treaty of Far Messaging. C. SOLS and its rules. D. Both international and local rules. 71. When on board, channel 16 is used for a shore radio connection, you always work: A. Simplex. B. Duplex. C. Semi-duplex. D. Triplex. 72. This communication system is used for distress alert, transmission and reception of maritime safety information via enhanced group calls. This may also be used for general communications. A. GMDSS. B. ASH. C. SATCOM-C. D. NAVTEX. 73. Channel 70 for digital selective calling for distress. For safety and calling frequency, choose which one on the list. A. 159.526 MHz. B. 157.526 MHz. C. 158.526 MHz. D. 156.526 MHz. 74. What is the content of table number 3 of radio telephony procedures? A. Nature of distress in code from the International Code of Signals. B. All of the above. C. Phonetic alphabets and spelling. D. Position in code from the International Code of Signals. 75. The transmitting power of the Maritime is adjusted by setting: A. Volume. B. High or low power. C. Dual watch. D. Squelch. 76. What is the calling in distress frequency on a single sideband SSB marine radio telephone? A. 1892 kHz. B. 2182 kHz. C. 1493 kHz. D. 2082 kHz. 77. When all preparations have been made to ensure that the main engine is operational prior to departure, what will be the final test to be carried out? A. Open air to engine drain air bottles blow indicator cocks. B. Blow indicator cocks test reversing of engine short firing kicks. C. Put out the turning gear and turn the lubricators. D. Close safety valves blow indicator cocks fill air bottles. 78. What is understood by the assigned frequency? A. The upper sideband, USB. B. Frequency of the carrier wave. C. The frequency actually used by transmitter and receiver. D. Between high and low frequency. 79. The ship normally carries portable VHF and UHF marine radios. They are used for internal communications and small boat operations. They are called A. Walkie-talkies. B. Workies-talkies. C. Walk-and-talkies. D. Talkie-walkies. 80. What should you include in the body of a radio message seeking advice for a medical emergency at sea? A. The patient's name and next of kin. B. The patient's age, sex, nature of the emergency, pulse and length of illness, treatment given and diagnosis. C. The name and owner of the ship, its position and destination. D. All of the above. 81. To avoid the possibility of a scavenge fire, what important check is to be carried out every watch and more frequently if a damaged piston ring is suspected? A. The scavenge drain line is not clogged. B. The cylinder lubrication. C. The exhaust gas temperature. D. Overhear the cylinder for noise. 82. In maritime communication, two international treaties are primarily involved. Who are they? A. SOLAS and the International Treaty of Far Messaging. B. SOLAS and its rules. C. Both international and local rules. D. The IMO at London and the ITU at Geneva. 83. How does the prefix PAN indicates in radio telephone communications? A. A ship is threatened by grave and imminent danger and requests assistance. B. The message following is meteorological warning. C. A calling station has an urgent message about the safety of a person. D. The message following the prefix will be about the of safety navigation. 84. A polarization of a radio wave is determined by A. Length of the aerial. B. Height of the aerial. C. Width of the aerial. D. Position of the aerial. 85. The VHF radio telephone frequency for channel 14 is A. 156.8 MHz. B. 156.75 MHz. C. 156.7 MHz. D. 156.80 MHz. 86. Where does a radio signal in the HF channels propagate mainly? A. Between the Earth and satellites. B. Though hops between the ionized layers and the Earth. C. In the ionosphere. D. Along the curvature of the Earth. 87. You are proceeding to a distress site where the survivors are in life rafts. Which action will assist in making your vessel more visible to the survivors? A. Steering a sinuous course. B. Making smoke in daylight. C. Dumping debris over the side to make a trail to your vessel. D. Steering a zigzag course with 5 to 10 minutes on each leg. 88. You receive via the 8 MHz a DC's distress alert. The received DS message is however distorted. The MMSI as well as the position are eligible. After listening at the 8 MHz telephone distress frequency, nothing is heard. This is because A. First, an acknowledgement of a Coast Guard station must be received via the 8 MHz. B. You should have listened on the 2182 kHz. C. Choices presented are not possible. D. Telephone signals in the same frequency band are generally weaker than DCS signals. 89. When an engineer on duty is inspecting an UMS mode-operated engine room at night, what precautions should be taken? A. Leave the UMS selector switch to UMS mode. B. Switch the engineer call alarm to notify other engineers. C. Switch on the dead man alarm upon entering the control rooms. D. Do not silence the alarm so the other engineer can hear. 90. Which of the following is a homing device to enable ships and SAR aircraft to pinpoint a ship in distress position? A. Apparatus. B. None of these. C. SART. D. AIS. 91. Which of the following reasons why an automatic amplifier regulation is used? A. With weak incoming signals, distortion is reduced. B. In absence of incoming signals, the noise is reduced. C. Reduced noise if there is no signal. D. With varying incoming signals, the variation is as small as possible. 92. The transmitting range of an HF transmitter is mainly determined by A. The time of day in relation to propagation. B. Atmospheric condition. C. The height of the transmitting antenna. D. The transmitting power. 93. According to the regulation and restrictions of the Maritime license, how would you define the Maritime? A. Apart from its position as indicated, also be used in other places provided its call sign is at least transmitted once at the start and at the end of each transmission. B. May only be present at the place, as indicated in the license. C. None. D. May be taken off the ship temporarily, only if suitable measures are taken for the prevention of the use of Maritime. 94. Where does the radio telex in distress traffic preference is given? A. IRS. B. ISD. C. ARQ. D. Direct telex. 95. What is a frequency mean? A. Any of the above. B. Number of vibrations per unit of time. C. Number of vibrations. D. Time lapse of vibrations. 96. Who operates a marine traffic monitoring and communications systems, providing navigational information and the tracking of vessel movements within the port limits? A. SART. B. UHF. C. VTS. D. VHF. 97. Which of the following types, sizes of vessels in international trade do not need to be fitted with a radio telephone station? A. Cargo ships below 300 tons gross. B. Passenger ships of less than 100 tons gross. C. Passenger ships carrying less than 36 passenger. D. Cargo ships of 300–1600 ton gross. 98. Which statement concerning locating signals in the GMDSS is false? A. Locating signals are intended to facilitate the finding of a distressed vessel or its survivors. B. Locating signals are transmitted by SARTs. C. Locating signals are transmitted by survival craft VHE transceivers. D. Locating signals are not transmitted by auto alarm generator. 99. With the use of Inmarsat and digital selective calling, distress alerts can be received. A. Manually. B. With ambiguity. C. With reliability. D. With the Navtex. 100. Which channel and mode should be used when initiating a distress alert? Transmission. A. Channel 70 DSC. B. Channel 13 radio telephony and Channel 16 DSC. C. Channel 6 DSC. D. Channel 6 radio telephony. 101. What speed is known when the rotating shaft frequency and the natural vibrating frequency become synchronized at a particular speed? A. Synchronous speed. B. Breakaway speed. C. Sympathetic speed. D. Critical speed. 102. Which statement concerning satellite EPIBs is true? A. Once activated, these EPIBs continuously send up a signal for use in identifying the vessel and for determining the position of the beacon. B. The coded signal only identifies the vessel's name and port odd registry. C. If the GMDSS radio operator does not program the EPIB, it will transmit default information such as the follow-on communications frequency and mode. 103. What is the best example of a wire to be used for the connection between VHF and antenna? A. A 3-vein cable with earth connection. B. A copper wire of sufficient diameter to minimize losses. C. An arbitrary coax cable. D. A coax cable of proper impedance. 104. Which one of the listed requirements regarding radio telephone auto alarm do not correspond to present regulations? A. Be capable of withstanding vibration, humidity and temperature changes. B. In presence of atmospheric or interfering signals automatically adjust itself. C. Be capable of withstanding variations in power supply voltages, and shall continue to operate under such conditions. D. As far as practicable give warning of faults preventing these apparatus from performing normal functions. 105. Automatic amplifier regulation is used for the following reasons. A. With varying incoming signals, the variation in the outgoing signal is as small as possible. B. In absence of incoming signals, the noise is rejected. C. All of the above. D. With weak incoming signals, distortion is reduced. 106. The holder of ship low-power radio telephone operator's permit is authorized to operate equipment or station using A. A3 of F2 emissions. B. A1 emissions. C. A3 or F3 emissions. D. F4 emissions. 107. In radio telephone communications, can you indicates the prefix PAN. A calling station has an urgent message about the safety of a person. B. A ship is threatened by grave and imminent danger and requests assistance. C. The message following is a meteorological warning. D. The message following the prefix will be about the safety of navigation. 108. Squelch mode serves to suppress A. Noise in speech breaks in an SSB signal. B. Noise in transmission. C. Background noise in receiving a weak FM signal. D. Noise in absence of an FM signal. 109. The VHF radio telephone calling safety distress frequency is A. 156.7 MHz channel 14. B. 156.65 MHz channel 13. C. 156.8 MHz channel 16. D. 156.6 MHz channel 12. 110. You are approaching a port when you see three lights in a vertical line. The upper and lower are green and the middle white. What does this mean? A. Vessels may proceed. Two-way traffic. B. You may proceed with caution. C. A vessel may proceed only when it has received specific orders to do so. D. Vessels may proceed one-way traffic. 111. How would you identify a VHF transmission range? A. The height of the aerial. B. The moment of propagation. C. The right position of the squelch adjustment. D. Length of the aerial. 112. By non-reduced transmitting power in VHF is meant in a power between A. 25 to 50 watt. B. 6 to 25 watt. C. 1 to 6 watt. D. 5 to 10 watt. 113. Announcements and conversations from one station to another on board should be as brief as possible and consistent with A. Understandability. B. Clarity. C. Loudness. D. Intelligibility. 114. Which of the following is correct about frequency modulation? A. The frequency is constant. B. Between high and low frequency. C. The amplitude fluctuating in LF rhythm. D. Frequency modulation is often applied in the maritime VHF range. 115. You have just received a call from the watchstander in the engine room reporting that a high temperature alarm for a main engine bearing has just sounded. Your next instruction to the watchstander should be to A. Check the status of the lube oil coolers. B. Immediately notify the bridge. C. Bring the main engine speed to idle. D. Increase the speed of the lube oil supply pump. 116. The recommended connection between antenna and VHF is A. 3-vein cable connection. B. Coax cable connection. C. Band cable connection. D. Single-vein cable connection. 117. The holder of ship low-power radio telephone operator's permit is authorized to operate equipment or station using A. A3 or F3 emissions. B. A3 of F2 emissions. C. F4 emissions. D. A1 emissions. 118. Can you name of the AM signal? A. Amplitude and frequency of the carrier wave are constant. B. Amplitude is variable and frequency of carrier wave is constant. C. Amplitude modulation. D. Both amplitude and frequency of the carrier wave are variable. 119. A wire aerial for an MF/HF transmitter need to be suspended between isolators. Why? A. The battery is low. B. To make the way for aerial currents as long as possible. C. To prevent contact with Earth. D. To prevent burns when touching the aerial. 120. How does the polarization of a radio wave can be determined? A. Length of the aerial. B. Width of the aerial. C. Position of the aerial. D. Height of the aerial. 121. The typical daylight frequencies for long-distance transmission are located in the A. 8 or 12 MHz band. B. 16 or 22 MHz band. C. 24–25 MHz band. D. 4 or 6 MHz band. 122. The VHF radio telephone frequency for channel 15 is A. 156.0 MHz. B. 156.8 MHz. C. 156.75 MHz. D. 156.7 MHz. 123. The maritime radio system consisting of a series of coast stations transmitting coastal warnings is called A. Navria. B. HYDROLANT, HYDROPAC. C. NAVTEX. D. SafeC. 124. In making VHF communication or test transmission, you must A. All of the above. B. With DSC use, first broadcast the carrier wave for at least 3 seconds. C. First street tap on the mic several times, but not more than 10 times. D. Identify yourself with your call sign and/or ship's name. 125. How should the letter D be pronounced when spoken on the radio telephone? A. David. B. Duke. C. Donkey. D. Delta. 126. What is the primary purpose for digital selective calling, DSC? A. DSC provides reception of weather and navigational warnings plus search and rescue information. B. DSC provides low-cost, routine communications for the vessel operator. C. DSC is to be used for transmitting and receiving distress alerts to and from other ships or coast radio stations via radio. D. This aids SAR authorities in tracking a vessel's position by satellite. 127. The VHF radio telephone frequency for channel 16 is A. 156.0 MHz. B. 156.85 MHz. C. 156.8 MHz. D. 156.75 MHz. 128. How would you understand by the wavelength? A. Inversely proportional to the frequency. B. Proportional to the frequency. C. Direction of frequency. D. Independent of the frequency. 129. What is the content of table number 1 of radio telephony procedures? A. Nature of distress in code from the International Code of Signals. B. All of the above. C. Position in code from the International Code of Signals. D. Phonetic alphabets and figure spelling. 130. An incinerator is a waste disposal unit that will burn A. Solid material and all types of liquid waste. B. Liquid material. C. Gases. D. Solid material. 131. Regulations require that any tankship making a voyage of over a 48-hour duration must have certain tests conducted not more than 12 hours prior to leaving port. Meeting this requirement includes the testing of the A. Means of communication between the bridge and engine room. B. Fire pump relief valve. C. Emergency lighting systems. D. Watertight door to the shaft alley. 132. Which of the following VHF marine frequencies have been set aside by the ITU for the International Distress, Safety and Calling Frequency? A. 70. B. 16. C. 67. D. 13. 133. What is the communication within the ship's emergency organization or communication within the shore emergency response team? A. Shipboard communication. B. Give the vessel a wide berth as she is carrying dangerous goods. C. Shore-to-ship communication. D. Internal communication. 134. A radio telegraph station shall be provided with A. Either an electric inspection lamp or a flashlight. B. Direct access to the navigating bridge. C. A reliable clock with a dial not less than 12.5 centimeters diameter, and marked to indicate silence periods. D. Spare parts, tools and testing equipment. 135. VHF radio telephone calling, safety, distress frequency is A. 156.65 MHz, channel 13. B. 156.7 MHz, channel 14. C. 156.6 MHz, channel 12. D. 156.8 MHz, channel 16. 136. Radio waves used in satellite communication are not affected by ionosphere because A. TDM signals are used. B. A disk aerial is used. C. The frequency of the radio waves is to very high. D. The frequency of the radio waves is to high. 137. At what temperature in degrees Celsius will safety devices called fusible plug installed in air compressor or compressed air system melts in order to prevent explosion? A. 200. B. 100. C. 150. D. 50. 138. Where does a long-distance communication in the HF bands depends on? A. Satellites. B. Dimmer setting. C. Ionization layers. D. Ground wave. 139. For the VHF antenna connection is used A. A properly insulated copper wire of sufficient diameter. B. A 50 ohm resistance coax cable. C. A coax cable of proper impedance. D. An arbitrary coax cable. 140. Underway on watch in the fire room, the bridge reports white smoke coming from the stack. This would indicate A. Low fuel oil temperatural. B. Insufficient steam atomization pressure. C. Excessive excess air. D. High fuel oil viscosity. 141. A polarization of a radio wave is determined by A. Height of the aerial. B. Width of the aerial. C. Position of the aerial. D. Length of the aerial. 142. The button or switch dimmer of a Maritime serves A. All of the above. B. To regulate the light. C. To suppress the noise. D. To regulate the transmitting power. 143. What item is considered the equivalent of aircraft's black box? A. VDR. B. GMDSS. C. AIS. D. EPUB. 144. Which signal is used by a rescue unit to indicate a vast hauling? A. An orange smoke signal. B. Firing of a green star signal. C. 3 white star rockets fired at 1-minute intervals. D. Firing of a red star signal. 145. Pledge of secrecy applies. A. For management level offices only. B. Only for those who want to send and/or receive a message. C. Only to certificate holders. D. For everybody. 146. You are making ship-to-shore telephone calls on VHF. You should use the A. High seas service. B. Emergency broadcast services. C. VHF FM service. D. Coastal harbor service. 147. To choose the HF band, the time difference between two stations is A. Negligible. B. Is hardly relevant. C. Important. D. Irrelevant. 148. Distress alert initiated for other than an appropriate test, by communications equipment intended for alerting, when no distress situation actually exists. A. False sequence. B. False alarm. C. False alert. D. False relay. 149. Which statement about transmitting distress messages by radio telephone is incorrect? A. Channel 16 156.8 MHz may be used for distress messages. B. Distress messages should first be transmitted on 2182 kHz. C. If no answer is received on the designated distress frequencies, repeat the distress call on any frequency available. D. It is advisable to follow a distress message on 2182 kHz by 2 dashes of 10 to 15 seconds duration. 150. At what speed a radio wave travels in the air? A. 300,000 meters per minute. B. 300,000 kilometers per second. C. 300,000 meters per second. D. 300,000 per kilometers per hour. 151. All ships with periodically unattended machinery plants shall, in addition to the general alarm requirements, should be provided with A. Personnel alarm. B. Accommodation space communication system. C. Engineer's assistance needed alarm. D. Engine room dead man's alarms. 152. Which visual distress signal is acceptable for daylight use only? A. Handheld red flare. B. Self-contained rocket-propelled parachute red flare. C. Red aerial pyrotechnic flare. D. Handheld orange smoke distress flare. 153. Which of the following VHE marine frequencies have been set aside by the ITU for digital selective calling frequency? A. 13. B. 67. C. 16. D. 70. 154. What is the maximum range of a VHF radio set from ship to ship at sea? A. 200 nautical miles. B. 2000 nautical miles. C. 2 nautical miles. D. 20 nautical miles. 155. You see an iceberg that has not been reported. What kind of radio message do you transmit to warn others? A. Distress message. B. Urgency message. C. Safety message. D. Routine message. 156. The HF band is in the frequency range of A. 3 to 30 kHz. B. 3 to 30 MHz. C. 3 to 30 THz. D. 3 to 30 GHz. 157. In order to comply with GMDSS regulations, what is the minimum number of portable two-way VHF walkie-talkies to use in survival craft that should be carried on board vessels? A. 1 set. B. 3 sets. C. There is no requirement to carry them. D. 2 sets. 158. What is the simplest method used for determining if a centrifugal pump is operating as designed? A. Closely observe the pump discharge temperature. B. Close off the discharge valve, and watch for a rise in pressure. C. Momentarily close off the suction valve, and watch for a rise in pressure. D. Use a clamp-on ammeter and compare the readings to past records. 159. The VHF radio telephone frequency for channel 13 is A. 156.70 MHz. B. 156.65 MHz. C. 156.75 MHz. D. 156.80 MHz. 160. Channel 70 for digital selective calling for distress, safety and calling frequency operator. A. 158.526 MHz. B. 157.526 MHz. C. 159.526 MHz. Congratulations! You finished this competency. Please check your answers through this answer key. And don't forget to share this blessing to others. God bless you always.